Hello and welcome back. My name is Vanessa from Wild Bushcraft. Today I have a special guest. Maybe you know him, I'm sure you know him. I am here by Jörg Sprave. So
yeah, I'm really glad to be a part of your show today.
Thank you.
Specifically since you want to know about something that I feel I'm very competent in, and that is home defense and self-defense.
Yeah.
With legal weapons in Germany, which is a different issue than in the US.
Yeah, it's very special. So if you want to see it, stay tuned. So at the beginning of the video I have an important question. In what situation it is really important that I can protect me and myself, and when should I do it, and in which situations not?
Well, I once read a great book by an American author called Yusuf Ayub, and he actually says in the gravest extreme. So it is these are cases of the gravest extreme where you really feel that your life is so much under threat that if you're not shooting it, if you're not trying to kill the attacker, then he's going to kill you or he's going to kill a family member of yourself. So in these really rare cases, when you cannot run away, when you can not defend him with something that is not as harmful, then and only then does it make sense to use a weapon to attack someone, since otherwise, at least in Germany, you are seen as the perpetrator and you will be sentenced and you will serve time, hard time. So only when you think it doesn't matter, I have to do this now, otherwise I'm going to be killed, then you can consider it. On the other hand, in one of these rare cases, then of course it is really good if you are prepared, if you have a weapon that can help you with this, that can actually do the purpose. And therefore I think it makes sense that we talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah, and because of those situations, is it important that you are prepared and you know what to do in such situations?
Exactly.
So you know that in Germany the situation is not so easy to protect yourself. Not every weapons are allowed, and we have only a small part which we can really legally use. But we want to show you all those weapons and how we can use it, if they are fast enough and if everyone can use it or only specific types of humans. So I'm a small person, I have not much power, but can I also use all those weapons?
Yeah, well, in general, one of the biggest differences between Germany and like the US is that in Germany it is really not possible to have a firearm like right on your bedstand or somewhere in reach where it's ready for action. In Germany it's not so hard to own a firearm, so you only have to be a member of a shooting club or you have to have a hunting license or whatever, but you have to keep it under lock and key. This means you can't put it under your pillow. Under your pillow. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to lock it up into a certified gun safe, separate it from the ammunition, unload it, and this means that if your situation rises, you have no time to get all this and make it ready for shooting. So we are limited to weapons that are distance weapons, so you can stop someone from a distance, but on the other hand are not legally regulated, so that you don't really have to lock it up into a gun safe. And these are usually, what I recommend is weapons that are shooting arrows, because arrows are effective if shot from a crossbow or a bow, even if the power is not so great. A beginner usually doesn't have the training and the necessary muscle strength to really shoot very powerful, like hunting bows and so on. But for self-defense that isn't necessary, and that's what I'm going to show you today.
Okay. You can hear this is my man for this topic, so I will learn a lot today, and I hope you too.
Hopefully.
So now we got several legal weapons for home defense, and we wanted to take a closer look to every one of them, but at first Jörg want to tell you what we see here.
Okay, well, we have a short selection of weapons. We're going to actually show a few more, but these are like representatives for categories. Here we have the less lethal weapons that are legal, and here we have lethal weapons. Now on the less lethal weapons, the most, I would say, popular one is this one here, which is a blank firing gun, but it can also, because it ejects everything here from the muzzle side, So this actually can fire tear gas as well, and therefore it is really popular. You can legally own this when you're 18. You have to keep it under lock and key, but not in a gun safe. Just a regular folder, even with a fingerprint or something is fine. You can only carry it in public if you have a carry permit, which is very easy to get. Basically, if you don't have a criminal record, all you do is apply, then you get it. And then you can also carry it in public. And then you can use the tear gas to defend yourself. Then we have this here, which is actually some kind of a combination of tear gas spray and a gun. This actually is the JPX protector. It has 4 shots. And this actually uses like blanks that actually propel the tear gas. So it's ejected through these jets here. And this means it's a far-reaching stream. It goes up to 7 or even 10 meters, and it's fairly accurate. We have 4 shots. And actually, officially, this is not to be used against humans. This is only for animals. But in an emergency situation for self-defense, you can, of course, also legally use it against human attackers. Therefore, it's kind of a loophole in the law, officially against animals, but effective against humans for sure. But it is a bit bulky too. Right? And then we have the lethal weapons, which here, this is a crossbow that's very successful currently, since it's a repeating crossbow. This is not just a single shot and then you're helpless. This is actually a repeating weapon where you can fill in your bolts into the magazine, and then you can repeat and very quickly shoot all the 6 arrows in the magazine. So it's far more effective. And also, as you see, it's a small crossbow. This is a tactical crossbow. This is not for hunting. This is only for home and self-defense. And then we have the bow, which is actually my invention, because this is not just any bow. As you see, it has a funny box on top. This is a bow magazine with pump action functionality. This means you can put 5 arrows into this here, and then you can shoot it by simply drawing out the bow and then firing it with the thumb, and then just like a pump action gun, you can very quickly repeat and shoot 1 arrow after the other. So you can empty 5 arrows within 4 seconds easily. And therefore, yes, it's bigger than the other weapons, but it is also way quicker, and the advantage is you can keep it directed at your opponent when you repeat. You don't have to take it out of the line of sight. So it's a clumsy weapon, but I think it's one of the most effective ways for home defense. Well.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and of course we will take to each of them a closer look, and we want to use it.
Yes, and we see if Vanessa can also handle it. And you have no training with all this, right?
No.
You're a complete beginner. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, this here is one of the funniest weapons that you can use for home and self-defense in Germany, because this is meant to be an underwater gun. This is a harpoon gun, and that's what it also says. It says spare gun here, and therefore you also have this yellow color, because underwater it's easy to see, so if you drop it you can easily retrieve it. And this is actually designed for shark defense or repellent, but also for underwater hunting, spare gun hunting, where it is legal. There's not too many countries where this is possible. But then we would also use other arrows. You would then use some with the fish hooks, and also with some string that is then tied to the end of the butt here. So, but otherwise this basically works like a shotgun. So you have these short arrows. You have these short arrows that sit on a small tube, propelled by rubber that is under enormous pressure, 350 bar, that's like 5,000 psi. This is about 100 times as much pressure as you have in a truck tire. And then you can load the whole thing simply like you load a shotgun. You have 2 shots, break barrel. It is really deadly underwater, but if something is deadly underwater, it is double deadly above water, because of the less density, of the lower density of the air compared to water. So above water, this flies far, very far, and also it has far more penetration power. So therefore, it's like a secret tip amongst people that want to have something for home and self-defense in Germany, to just buy a harpoon gun. You can also get all the other models from Cressy and so on. Typically they use longer spares, but they're all really deadly above water. So this is It's like a secret tip.
Oh. I always see harpoon guns only in TV, so the first time real, and I'm really looking forward to see it.
Okay, we'll find out.
We will shoot at the pumpkin. See exactly how it looks now, because later it will have another look.
This is the Stinger 2 crossbow. It has a magazine for 6 arrows, and it can be cocked simply by using the rear stock as a lever. Actually, there are different arrow types for it. This is a field tip arrow for practice. This is a hardened bodkin. This is when you want to penetrate something hard, let's say a zombie skull or something, then you use them. And these are hunting broadheads, really, really sharp. They're so sharp that you will actually hurt yourself just by touching the tip. And those are absolutely preferred when you want to use it for home and self-defense, since if you shoot something like this into a body of an attacker, chances are he's not going to survive it and he's going to die quickly. So therefore, you don't need a lot of power to kill someone with a razor-sharp arrow like this. So we just load it in. Okay. Tue ich die anderen Pfeile mal weg. So we will now cock the crossbow and then shoot 2 arrows through the pumpkin. You can easily see what happened. One arrow completely penetrated and actually flew on right into my little fish pond. And this one also completely penetrated. You can actually see the pumpkin bleeding. You can see this is a solid pumpkin. You can imagine what would happen if you would shoot something like this into the body of an attacker. It would be devastating. Perfect. Perfect.
Wo ist er?
Treffer.
Echt? Okay, gut. Ich dachte schon, ich hab drüber.
Willst du nochmal oder war's das? Okay. Durch.
Okay. Ja, das macht auf alle Fälle sehr viel Spaß.
Ja, und wie du siehst,
Aha. Ja, da könnte ich Gefallen dran finden.
Ja, du siehst schon von der Wirkung her ist das absolut ausreichend. Also klar. Next we are coming to the Adder, which is probably the world's most popular crossbow in terms of sales, definitely. Because it has 7 shots in the magazine. It is far more powerful than the small Stinger. As you see, it's a tactical crossbow. It's a completely new breed. It of course has far more shot energy, and it also uses much larger arrows with even wider broadheads. Where of course this power is of course coming from muscle energy. You still have to manually cock it, and therefore this is something that is more for like more powerful people. So typically men or females that have the proper amount of practice. Where if I would give this to Vanessa, I don't think that she could really cock this without a few days of intensive training. And the way you cock it, very simple. You simply stretch it out like this until it engages, and then you close it like this, and now you have cocked the crossbow. And if I want to shoot, I turn around, and I can of course also aim instinctively. Hast du ein Bild?
Ja.
Okay. And then fire at will. And of course it's completely penetrated. This is not something that will stop this projectile.
Okay.
Versuch's mal. Genau. Jetzt kannst du diesen Hebel zurückziehen. Jetzt bringst du das ganz nach vorne. Ja, genau. Und jetzt versuchst du das hier möglichst hinten anzufassen, ganz hinten anfassen. Aber nicht mit dem Daumen, weil hier rastet es ja dann ein.
Ja.
Und dann kräftig nach hinten bringen. Oh ja. Das ist aussichtslos. Aber das ist für mich natürlich, also ich habe da null Mühe mit. Ne?
Ja.
So, jetzt sichere ich dir die Waffe mal einmal. Jetzt ist sie also gesichert. Wollen wir dann mal einen Abstand nehmen. Also du kannst entweder aus der Hüfte schießen, wenn du willst, oder du kannst natürlich auch zielen. Hier haben wir eben auch so ein Rotpunktvisier. Dann gehen wir mal ein paar Meter zurück. Ich mal sagen, bis hier.
Ja.
Wenn du jetzt die Waffe in Anschlag nimmst,
Ja.
hier vorne mit der rechten Hand, hier mit der linken Hand,
Ja.
fängt an den Finger noch gerade lassen.
Ja.
Schau erst mal durch, dass du den roten Punkt siehst.
Aha.
Siehst du den?
Ja.
Wenn du jetzt so weit bist, dass du schießen willst, dann schiebst du diese Sicherung nach vorne und dann kannst du schießen. Ne? Läuft deine Kamera?
Ja.
Haben wir dich auch im Bild hier? Ja, sieht so aus. Okay. Bang. Okay. Boom. Ja, also ich habe schon gesehen, beide Pfeile haben. Der eine hat nur ein bisschen Druck gehabt und der andere hat gar keinen Druck mehr gehabt. Muss ich dann mal eben nachpumpen gehen. Aber du hast auch gut getroffen.
Second try, zweiter Versuch.
Boom. Boom.
Stromst dahinter.
This definitely has some major impact. Okay, so you see this one did not go all the way through because it was stopped by the wooden plank here, but the other one went all the way through, and definitely look at the hole diameter here. So this is completely devastating and definitely deadly, specifically above water. So these are really deadly weapons, even though they look funny. And now we're coming to the Fenris bow, which is actually a pump action bow with a magazine. As you see, there's 5 arrows in here. I can also use hunting tips, of course, if I want to. Now this bow has the advantage that it's completely adjustable in terms of power and also draw length. So this I adjusted for Vanessa. Vanessa doesn't have any archery experience, so therefore she has never trained the muscles that are necessary to pull a really powerful bow. Therefore I set this to a very easy draw weight. I mean, this you can do with one finger. For me it's like no effort at all. Still it is powerful enough for home defense. Also I set this to a very short draw length. I could actually go for a much longer draw, which my personal bow has, but for her it will be just right. You aim by switching on the laser sights. This means that you have a laser that can actually point directly at your target, but on short distances it's not even necessary. You shoot from the hip like you would shoot with a pump action shotgun. Okay, so very easy, pull, fire. Also wirklich ganz leicht, ausziehen, feuern. Ja, also der erste Schuss ist schnell gemacht, zack, aber ich kann natürlich...
Das ist einfach nur geil.
Denk dran, mit dem Daumen erst dran. Also ich würde erstmal, komm ein Stück zurück, mach erstmal einen Schuss gezielt.
Also hier einfach nochmal ziehen und aufladen, oder?
Ziehen bis zum Anschlag.
Aha. Und dann hier.
Und dann mit dem Daumen abziehen.
Okay.
Und halt den hochkant, wie man Bogen hält. Ist noch immer zu schwer? So, jetzt hast du es.
Okay.
So, weiter nach oben, genau. Bang. So, jetzt einfach nach vorne schieben. Ganz nach vorne.
Aha.
Jetzt machst du das Ganze normal. Bang. Ist das nicht scheiß einfach? Kannst du dir jetzt ungefähr vorstellen, wie viel du üben müsstest, damit du das mit einem normalen Bogen machen würdest?
Ja. Ja, das macht Spaß.
Also klar, du tust dir jetzt noch ein bisschen schwer, aber das könntest du wirklich innerhalb von ein paar Tagen, würdest du das genügend hinkriegen, dass du das schnell hinkriegst.
Ja.
Das ist halt was anderes, das ist einfach viel einfacher.
Geiles Teil, wirklich.
Willst du das nochmal dokumentieren oder ich würde dir ansonsten jetzt vorschlagen, dass ich mal mit meinem Bogen darauf schieße. Der hat halt die volle Power-Einstellung und da sieht man daneben sehen, dass der viel tiefer reingeht.
Ja, gerne, machen wir so.
Ja? So. Soll ich dann von hier die Ansage machen?
Ja, jetzt noch
Genau. Ja, lass die Pfeile ruhig mal drin, genau, dann sieht man den Unterschied schön. Genau. Jetzt haben wir hier meinen ganz persönlichen Fenris-Bogen und wie man sieht, der ist im Prinzip ganz ähnlich zu dem, den ich der Vanessa gegeben habe. Aber der Unterschied ist, Der hier ist erstmal auf meine viel längere Auszugslänge. Ich habe halt Gorilla-Arme eingerichtet. Und er ist außerdem, was die Leistung betrifft, voll zugedreht. Das heißt, er hat viel mehr Leistung. Was überhaupt nicht bedeutet, dass die Pfeile, die Vanessa abgeschossen hätte, jetzt nicht tödlich gewesen wären. Mit einer Jagdspitze wäre das auch tödlich gewesen. Das hier hat natürlich viel mehr Power. Damit kann man im Prinzip Großwild jagen. Und dann schauen wir mal, wie die sich dann im Ziel vergleichen miteinander. So this is what my arrows did. I mean, they almost penetrate out of the other side. And these are Vanessa's arrows. As you can see, they penetrated far less deep. But this does not mean, specifically if we would use a hunting broadhead, that these would not be deadly. This would definitely, most certainly stop an attacker. And therefore, you can see the shot frequency is so high with these bows, higher than with any other muzzle-operated weapon, I'm sure. Alright, now we have the peaks on, which Vanessa will have to shoot it from a distance of 5 meters, roughly over 5 yards, and try to hit my trusted zombie head from Zombie Go Boom. Now this is a little bit tricky because the problem with these tear gas things is they only work if you hit someone in the face. So if you hit him in the chest and so on, it's not going to do anything. And you know, Vanessa will have 4 shots only to actually stop the zombie dead in its tracks. Let's see if she can do it. Miteinander durch, bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
Den Rest vom Pfeffer tun wir einfach auf Steak heute Abend. So, pass auf.
Danke.
Ich gehe jetzt mal zur Kamera runter. Läuft deine Kamera hier unten schon?
Ja.
Okay. Na dann, Feuer frei. Feuer frei. Also eindeutig getroffen, ne?
Das geht.
Nicht mit jedem Schuss.
Aber wenn das aus der Distanz so übel ist.
Also,
Boah, das hätte ich nicht gedacht.
aber da kannst du auch mal sehen, dass die Dinger nicht ungefährlich sind. Wenn du die in geschlossenen Räumen, da bist du selber auch ausgenockt. Ne?
Auf alle Fälle.
Ja, ich sehe schon, dein Besuch hier wird dir in Erinnerung bleiben. Ne? So first of all, you're a good shot. I mean, before you start to cry and cough and... But I have to say, I mean, this is fresh air and we're still kind of sniffing and tears in the eyes. And I mean, how must it feel for someone who gets 4 shots like this right in the face? It must be horrible. I think it would burn his eyes out.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I've got something at my eyes and it burns like hell. I don't want even have something like this frontal in my face, so
No.
this definitely knocks you out.
But you can also imagine if this would be an indoor situation now, it would definitely be devastating for both the victim and the shooter. So
Sure.
you have to be careful with these things. This is one of the reasons why I don't really like this kind of weapon. So on the other hand, I have to say it's really effective.
Oh yeah. So I want to cry a little bit now.
Okay. Excuse us for a while. Komm, wir gehen mal aus dem... Willst du dir vielleicht das Gesicht waschen? Now that we have recovered from all the tears and all the sniffling and sneezing, yeah, I think it's time for a conclusion.
Yeah. I never thought that it would burn so much. So I stand 5 meters away, but it burned so heavy that I can't open my eyes later. My whole face was burning. I don't thought that it would be so heavy. So
Yeah.
I learned something out of this test, because I know now that I would never ever use it into a room or my house or a tent, because otherwise I am also complete knocked out.
Yeah, I think everyone who owns one of these should actually try it with real pepper, not just with the training cartridge. This is harmless, it's just water, but you should try it with this one, because it definitely will affect the shooter as well, and it could even knock you out. If you fire this in a tent, I think you're ready to go to hospital. So yeah, so but if we come to a conclusion, I think for you saw you shooting with all these things, for home defense I would actually recommend the Fenris bow, because you can handle it, it's very effective, and for home defense it doesn't matter if it's a little big. So, but if you want to take this out into the woods, definitely the Fenris would be too bulky, so you wouldn't want to carry it to that place. And also I think for the crossbows you simply would need too much practice. You would have to work out for weeks and months before you can effectively handle them. So therefore we are limited to these two choices, if we ignore the blank firing guns for a moment, right? But these two choices actually not an easy decision. This definitely has 4 shots, so this is a big advantage. And also, as we saw, it's really effective, but on the other hand it's dangerous for yourself. And also I don't like the fact that if you empty the 4 cartridges here, it's garbage. So they're very expensive. Also to practice with this thing is really expensive. Whereas the scuba ringer costs next to nothing to shoot. All you have to do is pump it up again. And it's also a lot less, bulky. So carry this on your hip is just like a slim pistol. It's about a 1911 size. So I think that would be a hard decision. Maybe I would recommend 2 of these. So you can go.
Yeah, I'm sure I would use something like this harpoon, because I can use it again and again and not put it into the trash after using once. So I learned a lot today, really. So thank you for show me all those weapons.
Yes. And now we're going to have to erect our tent, because my part of the challenge begins. I have to spend the night out in the open, in the woods.
That would be fun.
And we have to get going because it's getting dark.
Yeah.
So
the link to Jörg's channel is here down in the video description. Click in and subscribe. You will have a lot of fun while watching his videos. They are great.
Well, thanks. And I hope you enjoyed this one too, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.